Yes, sir. We're ready for another SAYIN. We're having Willa Farrington again, better known as Mr. Willa Farrington to us. He's one of the national heroes, and he's also a road.
Willa Farrington Drive.
Willa Farrington Drive, yeah.
Mr. Willa Farrington.
The Honorable National Hero, Willa Farrington. Okay, so join us this Friday, August the 16th, when we finish up our ride down Willa Farrington Lane. Or drive. Don't matter. We're not going to use our trafficators anyway, so.
wHA SAYIN is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
So yeah, another character for wHA SAYIN. This Friday, August the 16th, we finish up with Willa Farrington Drive.
Proudly sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974.
wHA SAYIN.
wHA SAYIN.
wHA SAYIN?
wHA SAYIN. You don't want to miss this unique, informative audience participation, light-hearted show with lots and lots of Cayman jokes, culture, and guests. As we talk about things we say and do, it happening every third Friday on Talk Today.
wHA SAYIN is a special feature of Talk Today, jointly produced by the National Museum and Radio Cayman, a language, history, and culture show. Remember, it's every third Friday on 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Proudly sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
wHA SAYIN begins right now.
All right. Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm very grateful, not only, for Wray Banker's continued
You grateful
efforts.
for me? Oh,
thank you very much for joining us.
I think it should be in a card or something. Hold my card.
No, Hallmark would rate the cards, I would say, man. To our listeners, thank you for joining us, and we are with bated breath, awaiting the arrival of Dr. Steve McField to join us to bring only the substance.
Haven't we heard that somewhere before?
Yeah.
Just like kind of recently.
Yeah. And the beautiful part, is Dr. Steve is not only an avid historian, a man with great intellect and recall, but still, as a practicing attorney before courts, very much in high demand. And he is.
It's interfering with his radio career.
Yeah, well, which one pays the bills?
Well, I can tell you which one.
We don't pay him. And he is in contact with us. So as soon as,
we know he's living.
Yeah, he leaves the court, he'll be here. And we'll get into the meat of the matter. What we were thinking prior. Wray, there's so much great things that's happening, so much wonderful things. I'm going to ask you on one perspective, and maybe to the listeners. It's not, when I was looking at it earlier, it wasn't meant to be overly disrespectful. It probably is. Overly. And the reason why...
that sounds like something I would get in trouble for saying.
But the reason why...
It wasn't meant to be overly disrespectful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
go from
there.
there.
We'll go from there. And the reason why I say is that there has to be this standard of excellence in our country. And there has to be this unwavering commitment that whatever and however the country is presented, it has to be absolutely the best. Accurate, has to be presented in a way.
For me right now, I just would like something. Right. It's one of those... like a draft.
Okay. Well, okay. So with that in mind, start with what we think or what we're told is supposed to be the official sort of book that documents our history. And
the last one.
The last one.
The latest one, I should say.
Right. Wonderful title, but again, with some of the comments.
Now we're talking about Founded Upon the Seas, right?
Yeah. And what is interesting is that it was a good effort. I think a lot of the supporting cast behind the scenes, as the years have unfolded, will share. Again, we're such a polite people and so accommodating that sometimes...
like Cayman kind.
Yeah, that diplomacy gets in the way.
I don't know if it works for us, though.
No.
I don't think it works on our behalf.
I don't think so. And when we look at it, we see, we just made that concession. Well, that concession over time could...
Yeah, it compounds.
Yeah. And that's why I'm saying that. And an individual like Mr. Steve, who can share not only from research, but
yeah, he had a critique of the book too.
Yeah,
like I said, the latest Founded Upon the Seas book,
right.
and it is, I think. And to be fair, I think Miss Anita, when we had her in, she was a big part of that the process, and with Dr. Pedley, the late Dr. Pedley from the archive,
right.
And she was saying it was so much information that the best way to do it, they thought, was release it in sort of parts, sections. So this was one section. So there was,
but there's no more sections.
There's possibly two other.
Right.
That's what I'm kind of hearing.
And this is the part that I've been picking up on over the years since, prior to the book's publication and since. Little comments from people.
Yeah, there's. I mean, I can tell you, I sat in on a couple of meetings, and I can tell you, I'm sort of in it, but my name is misspelled.
Yours too.
Mine and Ali, which is just Albert Ebanks, the artist. Our name are misspelled. So if I was sitting on the committee and my name still got misspelled, I don't know what else is in there. It's
kind of going those when you go into the new $100 million airport, they're not finished yet. The leaks apparently, according to the discussion last night. The cistern. There's some artists, local artists, and you see their names.
And it's calling it local artists. If I'm in there, I don't want to be called a local artist. I hope they got me on the Caymanian artist.
No, local artists will go into, and some of the names
that's a contented, not contented, but a contentious thing for me.
So last evening,
because I actually used the airport yet. Yeah. That's how tell you how much traveling I've been doing.
I saw some dogs in the grass. They've been using it. So it's not too bad.
I saw, was it an Audi that used it?
Yeah, presumably.
Made a drive-through.
So in looking at my notes last night, I had a chance to reach out to a couple of individuals, right?
I don't even want to go see that now that you talk about it.
Yeah.
They got some countertops there that I can't even look at. That might be a little bit shallow, but if that's a microcosm of the whole process.
There are some individuals who are not from here originally, but for whom Cayman is
their home.
Yeah, this is their heart. And sometimes they're here for 6 weeks. Sometimes they come planning to stay 6 months, but after 6 days they gotta leave to do something. They come back.
Is it the snowbird people?
Well, somehow, right?
Yeah.
And
some of them.
If they've been here 40, 50 years visiting, if some of them had maybe their parents or grandparents, so you see the change. But you listen to the level of respect and appreciation that they have for the country, and they will share. Well, do you realize that? But
is that based on something that's not kind of here anymore?
Well, it is that too. But there are times when they'll remind you, oh, look at that thing has changed. Maybe it's the name of a road. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's the...
They might... Are you saying they kind of have a better perspective of it?
They have a better perspective, but they also have a better, not just understanding, but a more willingness to say, if you don't, look at what you have and take measures to... If you can't preserve it, at least capture it so that you can present it later on. But if there are things...
We're not even doing that.
We're doing none of that.
Yeah, because I know a couple of projects are... to that stage, so at least documenting it. So at least you have it at that level. Right. You know, it's kind of like in the museum thing where we have artifacts and sometimes what's left is just the photos. So you got to, make sure that you got at least good photos. I mean, you have a big fire and that's maybe all that's left, photos.
Well, even in your own homes, those family vacations, sometimes things get lost. And how is it, even now with the age where
you mean mementos, it's a special...
Right. Yeah. So from a national perspective, what is the country doing? And they were sharing that there's so much that is repeated.
But priority-wise, culture and heritage like that is way low on our priority.
Well, is it because we don't see the value in it? And is it because we don't know, how to monetize it? Because everything is about money, seemingly.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Is that the challenge? And then it's like...
They see the value of it. It's looking back. They don't see the relevance in the future with it. It's just, it's the substance of the place. I mean, it's kind of like what they say, your society is judged by how you treat, I think it's animals and your dead.
The most vulnerable is what I always look at,
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
And when you get, like I said, I always love summers, despite the heat and so on. Right?
Not on you.
No. The reason why I love them is that they transition. To me, September is the transition month. Right?
Or you mean going back to school?
Go back to school. The seafarers were noticeably absent. You miss them the most. Transition, right? And even those who come here that maybe leaving around about that time to go back somewhere and then return again in the winter, or the Caymanians who may take the summers off, they're coming back. September is that. So summers are.
To me, it was going back to school and stuff. And
that was horrible, huh? Still is.
Yeah.
And to our listeners, as we wait for Dr. Steve McField to join us, because he not only brings the historical perspective from the research that is available, but he can add one
personal.
Yeah, because he was there. He was there.
Yeah.
Right, and then he has an incredible recall from, and I think more importantly,
he has a super memory.
Yeah. He was and is willing to talk, listen, understand, and be able to.
Yeah, for his age, he has a young mind.
Yeah,
and a young, I would say, spirit.
Exactly, and a healthy appreciation and respect for what is the place, and so.
And people coming up, and sit down, listen to him. I could be his child, so
his grandchild.
Yeah, I'm just saying, put up with me.
I see. Yeah,
if he would put up with me. Yeah. Listen to my crazy ideas. Then but and I don't know if that's him personally, his bringing, or I don't want to say because he was exposed. I find those of us who go, and it's not a great. I don't think such a great thing to judge us by, but those of us who went abroad and come back tend to have a more open mind with stuff. And remember, we come from a maritime culture that their job every year was to go away, go to experience a different culture, a vastly different culture almost every port.
Right. And I think that experience that they had, it was educational for them.
And they would bring it back to the stories that they would bring back and things,
And that's why when I look at the way we approach education, even if let's say the Cayman Islands had the best university in the world with the best resources, and everybody wanted to come here. Let's just say that, right? I would still want the Caymanian students who attend the university to be able to do a year or two at another university.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. For a different perspective.
Yeah. You sit in the class with more students from different places. You get
of course.
And that education, so our seafarers
just that act is educational.
Indeed, and especially today with what travel is, sort of involved with travel. So those seafarers that went and our students that should go, it gives them the same perspective.
Now, what do you think? Like we said, because of the maritime culture, that happened to the seamen almost on a yearly basis.
Right.
That type of exposure. Not necessarily to the people that were left behind, but they got a little trickle-down effect, I think, of it. They would live through their experiences. But I want to ask now that our maritime culture has basically ended, not many of us are still at sea. Not practicing. Not practicing. It's obviously still part of our culture. But we're still a maritime. Yeah. Basically, we're still a maritime.
For the people to misunderstand what you're saying.
Yeah. That's easy to do because I ramble and sidetrack a lot
of us.
But now what we're getting is a lot of the influx of them cultures living with us, and we are traveling. Are we traveling? We're traveling a lot more, you think?
No, I think that our travels now are almost a sense of an escape.
Or work.
Right? There's not adventure, there's not exploration. We're going shopping. We're not taking in.
And then the seaman was sort of like a forced. It wasn't. The adventure was there, but it wasn't intentional.
Yeah. They didn't go on a safari.
It wasn't sought. Yeah. Like if they had a route just Tampa Cayman type thing. That's what they did.
But they would share. Now we can look at it as adventure and experience because they'll come back and they will regale us with their stories. I say I think, but I guess I look at my language as I thought, but I still think the world of Captain Shelby, the late Captain Shelby. And sometimes he would drive the van, he would stop, by the gate talk to my parents on his way to and fro checking his cows. And he always had apples. He would, even up until the most recent time, he would, I got apples for your mom and daddy.
But
they're the same age. And he would come and he would put the fence, and no, I'm not going to be long. And half hour later, we sure don't come in, I'm not going to be long. And they'll put the fence and they'll be talking.
Well, we definitely have an oral history.
Yeah.
We have an oral history culture.
I'll ask you another time, but I think it's okay. He would tell me a story. He's on the vessel, he's the captain. He's going into Cuba. Now, this is long before, Cuba was, So he's into Cuba, and they're doing, the trade as part of I guess, everyday commerce, as it were. Mm-hmm. And he would tell you what it involved.
Milk run type thing.
Yeah. And he's going to go there, how long he's going to be, what it involved to get certain things done. And the little banter between him as captain and the inspectors on the docks.
Right, yeah. and the lubrication involved.
Right. And if you hear Captain Paul tell similar stories about other ports, whether they were in Trinidad or other parts of the world.
South America.
Right. And you see that there were similarities. And then you hear stories, and then you hear the things that they saw. And we get to read them sometimes in the paper, right, or history books. You get a chance to now realize that, wow, my grandfather or my father was there when this happened.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, even my father, he was, 60s when the Egypt was taking over the Suez Canal. He got caught.
My dad as well.
Yeah.
You're there. You can't go in, you can't come out. You're stuck in there, right, in the Suez Canal. And while this is going on, they're like, well, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Right? Or you imagine your father telling you a story that they're in a convoy of ships and, up ahead or just behind, there's an explosion, one of them, and lives are lost. Mm-hmm. Something, well, what if that was, your father?
Yeah.
And then you read about some of those things in little pieces. Maybe there's a movie capturing a piece of documentary. The richness of our history, and that's why someone like Mr.
It
Steve...
It's crazy. For a little tiny... I mean, like I said, I had my family visiting and looking at the map and showing them where things were, and I'm like, we're just a little speck.
Okay.
We're just a little speck.
You got to take a break, I think. Sorry, DJ Lynn.
Is that a passive aggressive? I don't even...
Okay, see, I'll tell you what.
Let's do a break. Let's do a break then.
All right, we're going to pause. We have to take a break. DJ Lynn is taking care of us. Well, he's such an amenable fellow. Eh? You think it's the height?
What? I don't know.
When you need stability, think Business of the Year.
Considering a new career opportunity, think Best Place to Work.
When dependability matters, think Outstanding Workforce.
In need of a reliable financial partner, think Bank of the Year.
When you seek excellence, think Cayman National.
No matter how many accomplishments we achieve, we always set the bar higher. That's why we are the most awarded bank in Cayman, and we are proud to be your
2018 Bank of the Year.
Come out to the South Coast Bar and Grill this Friday, August 16th for the second annual Cayman Night. There will be live music by Rex and the Band, Bonafide, Wild Nice, Lame, DJ Blue, and DJ Archie of Unit Force. Also featuring Rena Connolly, Philip and Molly Ann Bryan, Andy Martin, and special appearances by Swanky. Music starts at 9 p.m. and goes until 2 a.m. Admission is donations to assist Stan Ebanks with medical expenses, so don't miss the second annual Cayman Night at South Coast Bar and Grill this Friday, August 16th from 9 p.m. until 2 a.m. with Cayman's top musicians and admission by donation. See you there.
Hello, Cayman. I am Mariah Tibbetts, contestant number 3, representing the majestic district of Bodin Town. When I lived in Cayman Brac, I learned how to fish using soldier crabs as bait. I love spending time with my family, especially my 2-year-old nephew who calls me Yaya. Some of my favorite places I've traveled to are Amsterdam and New York, and I can't wait to add more to my list soon. The color pink describes my personality well because I am a girly girl, I like to be romantic, and I consider myself to be a sweet person. I hope to see all of you at the Ritz on August 17th, where we will crown the new Miss Cayman Islands universe. See you there.
Cayman Water Company would like to advise the public of roadwork interruptions on West Bay Road between Pizza Hut and Royal Palms on Friday, August 16th, Saturday the 17th, and Monday, August 19th, between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. Drivers are asked to proceed with caution and obey all traffic signs. That's roadwork and possible traffic delays on West Bay Road between Pizza Hut and Royal Palms from 7:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. on Friday, August 16th, Saturday the 17th, and Monday, August 19th.
Hey, are those new glasses on Will?
Yeah, we went to Optical Outlook. Wham, bam, easy exam. Finally, an exam he could pass. And we had the glasses the next day. Easiest part of our back-to-school shopping for sure.
Book your child's eye exam today at Optical Outlook. Call 746-2020. Get half off a complete pair of glasses with any student's eye exam now until August 31st. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook, located in Caymanian Village.
Terms and conditions apply.
The Cayman Islands Seafarers Association wishes to inform all members that there will be a general meeting on Tuesday, August 20th at 7:30 p.m. in the Seafarers Hall, 11 Victory Avenue, Prospect. There will be 3 buses from West Bay Town Hall, which leaves at 6 p.m. The Barnes bus route in Georgetown leaves the public library parking area at 6:45 p.m., stopping at the Cayman Compass Building and the Airport Fosters. The bus, marked Bobo $1 public transport and is blue in color, picks up from British Caymanian, Uncle Bill's, Walker's Road, Shedden Road, and Crew Road. The bus from East End pickups are the school parking lot, the gas station, and wreck of the 10 sails starting at 5:45. Northside pickups are at Chisholm Store and the soccer field starting at 6:15. The Bodden Town pickup is at Lorna's gas station at 6:45 and the Savannah pickups at gas station at 7 p.m.
Have you signed the Cruise Port referendum petition and still need to verify your signature through the Elections Office verification process? With its extended hours, you can do so today by visiting their headquarters Mondays through Thursday from 8:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. and on Fridays from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. For more information, please visit elections.ky.
How would you describe SAYIN?
A language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Okay, I like that definition. Now let's get back to the show.
SAYIN.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you are just joining us, or if you were and you're waiting, we are too. Dr. Steve McFeel will be our guest.
And hoping.
And please take a page from his book from a number of reasons. One, the gentleman is still, thank God, very healthy, very active, and still very much in demand. And to see, what are people like. He reminds me of the seafarers. He himself, a former seafarer as well. But he reminds me of that.
He doesn't talk a lot. He don't give a lot of details necessarily with that. I don't think.
No, and he did say, I guess in his view, he wasn't there as long as some of his contemporaries, right? Mm-hmm. But
I remember him saying he went to sea with Patterson. You remember we did the Patterson show,
right? And I think if we look at a gentleman like that, incredible intellect, but his passion, love, respect, and desire to not just promote and preserve Cayman, but to research so that it's there for others to be able to share in.
But don't get us wrong; it's a personal. It's a personal benefit, we get high off of it. I get high off of it.
But
time traveling.
Yeah, I was asking you earlier, right? And the reason I use the word, the phrase over the disrespectful is that for me, you use, get a high. I didn't sort of correlate it to that, but knowing your history, seeing the accomplishments of your people, the resilience, the resolve that they had, not talking about, mosquito ponds and mosquitoes that kill cows and grass pieces, right?
And I'm still, that's something, it's this ethereal thing that
Yeah.
It's there, but you can't.
Right.
I've been in it, I guess, the business now for over 20 odd years, almost 30 years with it. And I'm still trying to figure out, not just at the museum work, but my own personal work, like artwork and things like that, trying to figure out, put words to it.
Right. And I think that's where someone like Mr. Steve motivates us, right? And if we all look in our families, now, there are a lot of us who are, for want of a better word, boastful. what they say, braggadocious. Then there are those of us who aren't as much. And sometimes when I hear people say, well, do you know your granduncles, on all sides of my family, bona fide sea captains, captain of the Goldfield, for instance. You think you're being...
I think I know what you're getting at. I think is a balance between being boastful, braggadocious, and being accurate.
Yeah.
And being appreciative of what you do. And I think you tell me that all the time with this, like I kind of play stuff out because it's not comfortable for me.
No, for none of us.
Yeah.
But Ray, you're...
But it's like when you do your resume and you update your resume and stuff, and you start going,
yeah, I think I do mine too.
Let's work on it together, shall we? You start going, oh, I did that. I went there. I was like, oh, yeah, I did that. Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Well, that's a good example because earlier in the week we were talking to work on Wednesday with the Councillor Harris and, his team there. And for the most part, I think there are some Caymanians with their accomplishments and they're doing a resume. We don't train them as well as to how to present. When we're interviewing and debating, that is not within our nature. Now, we can argue with you and we come to blows if it comes to that.
Good at that, yeah.
Right? But to be able to go and sell yourself, that connotation itself is part of the reason why we don't, right? I remember...
Well, it goes to the fact that we're, like, for hundreds and hundreds of years, generations... We were bred for one purpose, like the maritime and all around the maritime industry and everything that's accompanying that. And now we're totally switched. Now we got to go sit down, paperwork, culture.
Well, for those who are listening, we invite you into the conversation.
Yes, we would. What, do you use them word? Implore?
No, I don't like implore. Implore seems like too much like no.
Where else would I use implore? You got to give me that.
Okay, go ahead. We'll implore you.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead then.
And then you add what else?
No.
What other words?
I was going to say,
better words.
We would try to exclude DJ Lynn.
I have the best words.
Because
the best words.
Yeah. When you saw right before the break.
Yeah. What was that again? That was, we'll just go back to that. Well, we were kind of cut off. We were talking about DJ Lynn's height, I think.
No, we weren't. So, DJ Lynn, we want to invite you if you're comfortable, right? Come into the conversation with us. For those who are listening, it is what today is the 16th of August.
16th of August.
So schools are back in session week after next.
Yeah.
For the most part, right? Parents are excited.
Yeah.
They're stressed.
Yeah.
Whether the child is going back to university, starting university, whether it's primary school for the first day of class ever, whether it's moving high school, the last year of high school. Now, then in our society, I was talking too much earlier. In our society, our people, Ray said it just now. Not enough of us are getting excited, becoming enamored with our society and our history and our heritage, our culture, their accomplishments. Right? For me, the more I learn, it's like I feel tall in the sense that, hey, listen, bro.
Have you tried to do hair? Like your hair grows when you
sometimes?
do
Listen, my father always used to tell me, he say, son, small axe, drop big tree. So don't let the height fool you, or don't let the height,
Yeah.
Don't let the height determine your abilities to accomplish certain things. But go ahead.
Right. So with that, right, knowing that there are some of us who know a little bit more about our history, not just because of the things we read, but we get the company of, say, Dr. Steve, Mr. Roy Borden and others, and we can chat with them. Sometimes it's within our own families and the stories that we hear. And then we realize that, oh, you're from West Bay, but do you know your great aunt married somebody from Cayman Brack, and then they moved there and never returned. When was that? Oh, that was 1898. Wow, that wasn't yesterday.
Yeah, again, it's oral history, huh?
Yeah. The oral,
and that has big flaws in it.
Well, that's it. And then you have
it's becoming more written history now.
But what is recorded is in some cases.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing with oral history and written history. Written history is more permanent, but it's more sanitized,
right?
And so you get like I posted something on social media about slavery, and what was it? The compensation for slavery when it was emancipation, and apparently they said before the compensation, the or after compensation, the amount of slaves, the number of slaves had risen almost doubled. It was a big number, and it was like, couldn't figure out what. But it turns out like the little mulatto child that they had as a slave was actually their son, and they were getting paid from.
Yeah.
So that's written history. That's like the formal version of a history. But the oral or behind the scenes is we got money for you. We got a little some money for you.
So then,
money.
From that perspective, then, right? Sorry to exclude you, then. From that perspective, when we look at Cayman and so those of us who are say on the 60, on the 50 even, right? And we're talking to the 15-year-old. How do we make sure that what we're telling them is factual and we're proud of it, and then they pick it up and say, "Wow, this little place, we did this, right?" And first off, and then the next one, well, how do you respond to that? Both of you and to listeners as well.
Personally, I'm not really sure. I think you have to put it on an iPad these days in order for them to appreciate it. But I think even kids. They have to reach a certain age in order to have a certain respect and an understanding of certain things.
Okay, so the presentation of it is important.
And then it's also if it's ingrained into them, like from day one. This is this is what you got. It affects them.
So that is fair to have. We're ingrained in we're
or not. Yeah. But I would kind of disagree with you when you were saying that the Cayman culture doesn't like or doesn't respect our past and history and all that stuff.
Okay, did I say that? Hopefully not.
We don't appreciate it, I think.
No, I honestly believe we don't appreciate it.
Well, I kind of disagree with that.
Okay.
I think it's how it's presented.
Okay.
If they've got, and I guess anybody's like that, if they got to go dig maybe in some box in the archive way back in the back of the room and stuff like that.
Commercial break too?
If it's harder for somebody to access it, if it's not easily accessible, and then it's not presented, not packaged, and like this show. I mean, I think part of the success of the show is a lighthearted, casual, funny-ish presentation of what we're talking about.
But look at the amount of work, just you alone, right? And thank you for putting it in a paper format, because. But you want us to take a commercial break, right?
Yeah.
We have to take a commercial break. All right, we have to take a commercial break. We really appreciate our advertisers. So stay tuned. When we come back, well, hopefully you'll join us.
Parents, do you know what time it is?
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
But it's not Christmas time. But school is nearly back in session. Is your child ready for the school year? Stop by Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village and pick up all of your child's stationery supplies. With 30% off selected items, you won't need to break the bank to get your little one prepared for the school year. You have enough to worry about. Make back to school a breeze with Savannah Pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, or call 946-3336.
Gym tonight?
I have another test today.
Wow, for somebody who isn't in school, you've had a lot of tests this week.
Well, Vamp Motors is giving out fresh baked cookies to customers who test drive SUVs this month. And since I haven't decided what to buy, I'm just test driving each one to see what I like best.
You better test drive that to the gym and back, especially with all those free cookies you're getting from Vamp.
Take a test drive for a sweet surprise this August at Vamp Motors. Test drive any SUV and receive a freshly baked cookie. It's our way of saying thanks for dropping by to check out our huge sale on every SUV in stock. Save up to $4,400 during Vamp's summer SUV sale. Now through the end of August. That's every SUV in stock on sale. Save up to $4,400 or put the savings towards upgrading your vehicle. Sweeten the deal with Vamp Motors, Walkers Road.
Sometimes things just don't go as planned. That's why you need Contractors All Risk Insurance from Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Ensure you're covered in the event of property damage and third-party injury or damage claims during your construction projects. And with Fidelity Insurance Brokers, you can be sure you are getting competitive pricing and superior customer service. Call us today for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Wednesday, August 21 at 4 p.m.
You are invited to the grand opening of the new Superior Auto Apprenticeship Center on Seymour Drive. New opportunity, new beginnings, new home for Caymanian youth seeking career training and certification in high-demand trades like automotive repairs, air conditioning, refrigeration, plumbing, electrical, metal fabrication, and more. Come witness, celebrate the cutting of the ribbon. At 4 p.m. Wednesday afternoon, August 21, another milestone. The Superior Auto Apprenticeship Center, a not-for-profit program successfully training and creating employment alignment since 2010. Purpose and fulfillment.
Hi, I am 23-year-old Francine Wright, contestant number 5, representing the beautiful and vibrant district of Georgetown. I am a huge foodie that loves to travel, meet people from different cultures, and try new foods. I'm very family-oriented, with my idea of a good time being at the beach or around the pool with the ones I love. I'm passionate about community service and helping those around me. I hope to see you all on the night one of us is crowned the new Miss Cayman Islands Universe 2019. Be there on Saturday, the 17th of August at the Ritz-Carlton.
wHA SAYIN is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM. wHA SAYIN.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thank you for joining us. We invite you to call and share your thoughts if you so choose. 949-8037 or toll free with the kind compliments of Flo at 1-800-534-8255. And as we share with our listeners, we greatly appreciate their contributions and listening and sharing.
It's kind of an open mic right now.
Right, yeah. We're waiting for Dr. Steve McField, and maybe we'll sort of explain why we're waiting. But he's in court, as you know, very, very much an active member of the bar. And he's before the courts advocating for his clients. So, as you were sharing earlier, the notion that we can still remain a very, very, vibrant contributor to our society, whether you're 18 or 81.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for me, it's so encouraging for someone like Dr. Steve to be there that you can see, and he tells you the things he's up to, things he's been up to, and to recognize that sometimes where we are in life has a lot to do with what I say, you sow, what you reap, what you sow, right? And so he's been, as he shared, for the last 3-4 decades, conscious, with his lifestyle, and they're paying dividends. For those who are listening, we can get into it, we can air the clips, we can do the stuff, but it will be not the same. Without how the format is set, because we need that oral part, but we also need the response of the guests. And I like how you curate the show in a sense. For those listening, we want you to share with us and join in with the notion of how do we celebrate our history and our heritage? How do we support and promote?
Well, like we were talking last, I don't think it's right that like I saying that Caymanians don't appreciate their history. I'm learning that more and more. I think it's what they're given and how it's packaged
and how they access it.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, right, I'll share this again, and I'll ask us. Take me to task. I it's just a hypothesis. Earlier you used the word ingrained.
Mm-hmm.
Some would try substitute indoctrinated and so on.
However you want to
call
it.
No.
I'm just saying.
Right. I'm being deliberate.
Propaganda.
Exactly. So over the years, brainwashing. Okay. Social reengineering. Right.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Okay. So over the years.
Or engineering, not even re-engineering.
No, social engineering, even worse yet. So over the, let's say the last century, right? You could go back the last 2 centuries. Remember now, we said that we celebrated our quincentennial, presumably 500 years, right? What transpired in our history from that first recorded sighting, which is probably inaccurate to begin with. Right?
It wasn't Columbus. There's a couple of things in it.
We know that now. How many know that?
Yeah.
Right? But let's say you fast forward to 1800. Let's say it's 1700. At what point do we start to think? Maybe we say, nope, let's think 1950.
I mean, right? It's only like 1700s really that that we can say that we kind of
that we have recorded stuff.
And that's when we were settled by a certain way, call it. So
but
it's and the part that you talk about and the part that I like to focus on is from Columbus or the sighting or even before that. Yeah. To the 1600s and the 1700s is my little juice
and
box.
how many of us, I don't want to give too much yet, because you keep reminding me, but how many of us ever thought that maybe before 1503, when Columbus sighted and made his recordings and his log and whatever else, right? How many of us ever thought, well, I wonder if anything happened before that? Did anybody happen to be here? Right? Nothing happened, right? Okay.
Nothing.
The reason why I say all that, and some will go, "Oh, he's being cheeky." Yeah, probably. But the notion.
But he's losing weight, though.
Thank you.
He's losing weight, so you can see he's not so cheeky anymore.
Not so cheeky anymore. Well, you see, probably even more so now, right? But how many of us are willing to not just defend certain things, champion certain things, but question the oft-repeated inaccuracies?
Yeah, well, I can say that. It's, there's somebody who's really interested in history and genealogy, things like that, and it seemed like they were questioning the thing of, we're talking about the pirate graves. We're questioning whether we were pirates, the whole idea of slavery, what really happened, what kind of slavery was it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So it really, and I approach those things. It's more just factual. Of course, I have some personal bias with it. I try not to. I mean, it's not a conscious thing.
No, that's what I do.
Just like anybody, a historian thing will have it. But I try to. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the phones.
Let's go call. We got a call.
Good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for sharing.
Good afternoon, young man.
Hey, how are you, sir? Talking about good people, and there they appear. Blessings to you, sir.
You mean you were talking about me?
Hey, I
just got my car to drive, and I heard you and the young man there talking about. Wonder whether you were pirates or not.
Pirates.
I'm not wondering about it. That's for sure.
Oh, you're not?
Nope.
Then I thought, I said, well, let me see what they're talking about, because I remember going to get a flag a couple of days ago
Yes, sir. I remember.
Week, and the young banker was there, and I'm saying I didn't even know that he worked at that place. But I always listen on Fridays to hear what you guys come up with. I think third
Friday.
And you guys talk about making cornbread and stew and all that kind of thing, and
everything, the good stuff.
Eating it.
And that's up my alley, you see. So,
all the good stuff.
My mother taught me, as the oldest of three brothers. We have a sister, but she was always in boarding school, and I had to look after the other two. So we were 4 people, still are, I guess, but Mama couldn't afford a helper, so I was a helper for the other two. So I learned pretty quickly, long time ago, but I've continued it. My culinary efforts were fruitful, and they still are. So I'm always interested to know what you guys are talking about.
Well, the beautiful part is that the question, and as we await, hopefully Dr. Steve McField will be able to get a break from court. We were looking at our history.
Our topic was Willie Farrington. This is the second part of it. But right now, because we're waiting on Mr. Steve, our topics are kind of open, so we're just kind of open. So if you want to talk about cornbread, you want to share your, what is it, custard top?
The custard top. I finally, I think I told doing that on the last time I was there. I tried it together like how Mama did it, but I couldn't. And then finally, Miss Marvel, when Miss Marvel passed on, because I knew her quite well, Billy, her son, put her recipe for custard top cornbread on the back of her funeral program. And man,
wow.
I tried it, and I tell you, it works. It works beautiful, and ever since, I mean, I'm the pro now,
I can hear it. I can see the smile on your face even with it.
I can even taste it now, man.
Wow, that is something when you get something like that. Like you think you're lost, it's unattainable, and then it comes up. For some reason you come in, or it comes to you. Wow, yeah.
You found gold, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's the treasure.
Recently I had someone call me. Say, Mr. Dennis, tell me how to do that turtle meat again. So I said, I'll write this down for you, because every time you want to do it, you call me. And it's amazing how many people think that is so hard, and then it's so simple.
Well, it's always hard to people that practice it. I mean, you see something, and it's also easier for you because you know how to do it.
Yeah. Mr. Denniston, with respect, sir, if you wish, we can call you back, or if you can stay on. But we've gone on the foul side of Dr. DJ Lynn, and we have the news break to take. You want us to chat more, or?
No, I was just wondering what you guys are talking
about. I would like him to call back.
Yeah.
You got any recipes for corn turtle?
Actually, I want to bring some.
Yeah, exactly. You got any sample plates?
Jeez.
Corn?
Huh?
Corn turtle, yeah, you can bring some.
Do you know how to corn turtle?
Well, if it's anything similar to like the grouper, we had a group Cox and Grouper show a couple of months ago, and we learned how to basically corn or salt the fish. Is it similar to that? No?
You see the man, they won't take a break. Mr. Denniston?
Is he get called back?
Yeah.
Call back and let's finish that conversation, if please.
All right.
If you can. Yeah?
Okay. Thanks very much. And
from district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
In your headlines, the Cayman Islands Airports Authority says plans to start runway upgrade works at Owen Roberts International Airport this summer have been rescheduled due to, quote, unexpected extended contract negotiations. Part of the project would have involved the closure of the runway for 8 consecutive weeks on Tuesdays starting in September to repave and extend the runway. That will now be rescheduled. Other aspects of the project, however, will continue as planned. In international news, 3 abandoned devices that looked like pressure cookers caused an evacuation of a major New York City subway station and closed off an intersection in another part of town this morning before police determined the objects were not explosives. Police were looking to talk to a man seen on surveillance video taking 2 of the objects, which police identified as rice cookers, out of a shopping cart and placing them in a subway station in Lower Manhattan. In a photo released by authorities, the young man is seen lugging the cooker onto an elevator. Police stress, though, that so far it's not clear whether he was crippled or was just throwing the objects away. A CNN report looks at the impact of mega cruise liners on tourism, raising questions about whether the bigger ships are leading to over-tourism in some markets. Among the concerns, massive influxes of visitors arriving at a port at the same time, frustrating residents and causing congestion. From their perspective, cruise tourism officials say they work in collaboration with destination officials, and trips are planned 2 years in advance. Tyson Foods is recalling frozen chicken patty products over concerns they might have been contaminated with some kind of foreign matter. The bags have the number P13456 under the Weaver brand of frozen, fully cooked patties. The use-by date is January 31st, 2020. Those are your headlines. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, I'm April Cummings.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman. The best
best back-to-school sale is now at Reflections. Buy one, get one half price on all back-to-school shoes. Over 100 styles of your favorite brands: Nike, Adidas, Puma, Reebok, and more. Back-to-school savings on shoes for toddlers, children, teens, and adults. Buy one pair, get the second pair half price. Or buy one pair of shoes and get a backpack half priced. The best back-to-school sale at Reflections, now located on Shedden Road, across from Napa Auto Parts, beside Mango Tree. Reflections.
There are plenty of reasons to be a Logic customer. There's lightning-fast internet connectivity. There's the great overall customer experience. And now, you can improve your Wi-Fi connectivity with Logic Boost Wi-Fi for free. With Boost, you can extend your freedom to stream, game, and download seamlessly anywhere in your home, like your patio or your underground lair if you have one. Sign up now for any Logic Bundle package and get free Boost Wi-Fi for a limited time. Visit logic.ky for details.
Looking for a new car? We can give you a zillion reasons to switch to electric. They cost you less to run. They helps to save the planet. They are free charging stations all across Grand Cayman. Low maintenance needs. They're quiet both inside and out. And they're the future. But most of all, the government has reduced custom duties on electric cars. For cars valued below $30,000, you now don't have to pay anything. Visit the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure Facebook page for more information on electric cars. Radio Cayman's Super Jam Show, the #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio, featuring Will Sinatra. Enjoy a mix of pop, hip-hop, dancehall, and soca, and an entertainment trivia section.
Another proud sponsor of the Super Jam Show.
Merengue Town. Time to feel the rhythm. Time to feel the vibe. It's time for Merengue Town.
Did you know that once properly sanitized, some tinned food items may still be safe for consumption after coming in contact with floodwater? In order to properly sanitize these tins, always remove labels, and then wash tins in a strong detergent solution using a brush to get rid of excess impurities. Tins must then be immersed in a solution made of 2 tablespoons of chlorine bleach per gallon of water for 10 minutes. Ensure that containers are air-dried before opening. For more post-hurricane food safety tips, visit the DEH website at deh.gov.ky.
How would you describe SAYIN?
A language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Okay, I like that definition. Now let's get back to the show.
SAYIN.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. And as we would love very much your input, contribution, and share with us. Wray says, you know what, there's a healthy appreciation and respect for our history, our heritage, and our culture.
There is, yeah.
And I think you're correct, and especially in the fact that we're not able to easily access some of the stuff. You think to the social media where a number of people have put up old pictures, you know, but those old pictures are probably 50s, 40s, 60s, 70s.
Oh no, you got some from 1800s.
And then you got some. But then how many of those old pictures are there? But what about documentation of things that transpired? And Mr. Mickey, for instance, hope he doesn't mind me sharing, right? He has repeatedly talked about December 10th, 1831, when, in a sense, that was probably one of the most significant occasions in history. Mr. Steve...
And that's the democracy.
Right. Brings the documentation.
And it's right next to slavery.
Exactly.
Yeah, coincided. I think it was spawned by that.
And it speaks to our autonomy, our political independence in the minds now of our people.
And is that, which one is Steve's? Steve's, he likes the one where he says we were independent nation.
Right. Our people acted.
What time period was that?
Well, as he was sharing that, you know, and that's one of the things that we will get into with the discussion today. Our people acting as if we're independent, right? Or we've organized a legislature. We see the need to advance and do things. Our people have appointed what in today's language would be ambassadors, and we're trading with the Nordic countries. We're obviously trading with the New England coast of the U.S., but we're doing things. Small population, a small place, with great resources, sadly being exploited to a great extent with the hardwoods and the like. On our research, how many industries we had here, they were short-lived. No, you have a call, I believe.
And we have in the thing right now, the press right now, is the phosphate. The phosphate
right. So we can come to that in a second.
Yeah.
But let's take this call.
Which we covered first.
Let's go to the phones. Good afternoon. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, sir. I just mentioned your name. I hope it was okay with you.
What was that? That's the saying, the foot bottom was itching you?
It's okay with me. Whether it's good, bad, or...
No, well, it was hopefully said respectfully. Yes, sir.
Sure. I know it's all this.
Yes, sir.
Good to hear.
Mr. Mickett, what did we used to call that? If somebody was talking about you, your foot bottom was itching you? How did that go? You remember this?
I believe so.
Ears ringing? Are you jumping?
It wasn't a foot fungus or anything. It had to...
That was money.
Money? Okay.
Money coming to you.
Oh.
If you're right, I was itching you. I would be a millionaire by now. But anyhow... Could be just because your hand put around some meat and somewhere.
I got some nerve damage.
Yeah, nerve damage.
Touch and coverage.
Fungal.
Yeah, whatever.
He's like, whatever.
Your hand needs washing or something. But you're speaking about that December 10th, 1831. That was the first election that was held in the dining room there on the second floor of the old St. James House, or Pedro Castle, we call it, because it's located at Pedro. Pedro is the location of it. It made the government from then on a bicameral system, because the first government was really the magistrates holding court. They had started to hold court in the dining room there from 1801, as far as I know. And they were appointed for life. I think they were appointed by the British governors in Jamaica, but they were all Caymanians. But he had just appointed two more. Two had died. One had died, and he made it one more, and Mr. Hunter had passed away, because they were appointed for life, And he appointed one more, and it made 8 magistrates, and then the 10 men elected every 2 years by the people. From then on, they would meet in the dining room at the house there, and then in the room above on the third floor, the appointed magistrates would then meet. They met on the same day whenever the government met. I'm not sure how many times a year it was. Mr. Steve would more.
And it probably was December, when everybody had come back home.
It was 4 or 5 times a year, maybe, but maybe more. I don't know. But anyhow, they meet on the same day, but in the 2 separate rooms. But I think why Mr. Steve, and I keep saying that it was the only time in our history from that point onwards, December the 10th elections, that the first meeting was held on December the 31st. 1831, and I think there was one held also to complete that or something on the 2nd of January, and that's when the laws were actually signed, that they are debated or whatever. But they also held meetings in what is now the museum, which was the courthouse, because it was built by then, I think 1829 or something, 1828. And it could accommodate the bicameral system too, the 2 chambers system there. But they were, whatever laws that they debated and passed between the 2 parts of government, they put them into effect themselves. They had what they called a custos. The chief magistrate was given that title. And he would sign the laws into effect. They were all Caymanians, as like a de facto governor, sort of. And so they were put into effect themselves immediately and carried out and became law. I mean, we can't do that now, as we know. The British governor here has to sign the laws into effect that we debate and pass. And it's a sort of unicameral now with just the 19 elected men. The ex officio members now are for advice only. They no longer have a vote in the House. But that system did go on, until 1898. I'm pretty sure that's when it went on until. And the last custos was Reginald Parsons. And from then on, the governor, the British government sent down a governor. They were called commissioners at first. And the first one was set in Sanguinetti. And then it was Mr. George Stevenson Stuart Hurst. Mr. Hurst, by the way, is buried in Dixie Cemetery. He died in 1912 at the age of 40. But that's just to say, about the piracy thing, I don't think there was much piracy in Cayman. I can be able to criticize for saying that.
We'll have to fight that one, Mr. Mickey, from what the stuff that I'm finding. I'm just curious, sir. I know you're an avid historian, but where you get most of your information? Where can I ask?
I read a lot, and this was from a long time ago, and I do have a few pieces of documents, but those are kind of personal things on the history of my mother's family mostly. Sadly, my father's family, I don't have that much information on the very first Earlston. I know it came from a little town on the border of England and Scotland. It's right on Hadrian's Wall, but it's on the English side, called Hurleston, and the E was dropped out of it. So you just get LSTON, but that's where it started from. And my brother Ernest did manage to get the clan colors for the family. I can't remember what they were and all that, but but the Eden family, I have a lot more history on that and so forth. But I read, and there are some things we speak about the slavery issue. It's very, very involved on all that, and they were to have served apprenticeship, which meant working for free.
Yeah.
For 4 years and 6 years. It didn't work here. It ended in 10 months, and they weren't registered. It was a complex thing.
Yeah, Mr. McKay, I was talking to Steve about that. He was saying that we have a unique emancipation date or experience. Is that kind of what you're talking about? Like you said, it didn't work. So after 10 months, they went straight to freedom.
Freedom, yes. It went. The document that we normally always talk about with May the 6th, 1835, being read out there on the top of the landing at the St. James House, Peter Carter, if you want to call it that. And it was first read out, though, in Georgetown at the steps of the museum on May the 3rd, 1835. And then in Bordentown next. Bordentown was the capital. I'm not sure where it was read out. Miss Mary I'm sure would know that.
I thought somebody had identified it, a house.
On May the 5th.
Yeah, that's no longer there.
It was at Gun Square. It was at, I don't know where it was read out. And then he read it out on May the 6th at the Pedro House here. And then on May the 7th, in Little Cayman. The weather was too bad in the Brack, so they landed in Little Cayman.
Okay.
As far as my...
And this is Lord Sligo?
Lord Sligo, the British governor of Jamaica.
There's quite a story with that.
He wrote the document, but he stayed here only a day. He came here on the 2nd of May, the afternoon of the 2nd, I think it was 4 o'clock, with the biggest British battleship in Kingston Harbour. She was the Forte, or the Fort, I guess you'd say it in English. And she could have been a captured French battleship. And then Captain Pack, Anthony Pack, accompanied him on a sloop, the Serpent. He was provided with a sloop for himself. I don't know who the captain of that sloop was or anything. It's not mentioned, but I guess it wasn't important to them then. But he stayed on here for, I think it was 3 weeks, on the British governor's orders. Incidentally, the British governor's real name was oh Lord, he was an Irishman, and name will soon come to me. But that was just his title. And he stayed here for a day. What he did, what the document does, is end that apprenticeship system. And it made it unregistered slaves, because they're all unregistered here in Cayman. Right, slaves who was unregistered slaves have now been given their full and unqualified or so forth freedom. But it ended the apprenticeship, because he does mention that, and the compensation too. But He says, I am commanded to write this document because he was against freeing the slaves. It's right there. Everyone can read it for themselves. So he says, I think it's an injustice and an inconvenience for the slave owners to be deprived of the services of their Negroes.
Yeah.
But I'm commanded. So he was commanded.
He was probably one of those. He was probably benefit like a sugar. He was probably part of the sugar industry himself, I bet.
Remember in the huge sugar plantations in Jamaica, hundreds of thousands of slaves there running those things. I have the descriptions of how they were run. But they don't want to bore the people with that. They can read it for themselves. It's important on how cruelly the slaves were treated, the different methods of punishment, horrible punishment were given to them. And they were not treated any better after emancipation while they continued there in Jamaica under the apprenticeship system, because they had to work the full 4 and 6 years there for free. They would have been paid millions of pounds in wages in total. So
and I was told, like, starvation was a big thing.
They weren't given their freedom. Very, very cruel methods of punishment. I don't want to call them out on the radio. It might horrify people. So I don't want to do that, but we should know about it. And
I kind of disagree with that.
Yeah. Well, we could call it out, but anyway.
I mean, it is what it is. It's a part of our history and culture, just like everything else. The good stuff.
It was horrible, very horrible there in Jamaica, and the only person that we can think of who was cruelly punished and that was famous, and I don't know why she has not become a national heroine or hero square.
That's true.
Was Long Celia. The slave owned by one of my great uncles, Thomas Noel Eden. And he was ordered the lashes by Judge John Drayton, right, on the dining room there where they had the first elections and where they used to hold government and hold court there at Pedro. She was ordered to begin the 50 lashes on her body.
Mr. Mickey, two things with her. They had the whipping rock out town. Is that sort of out in front of the little small dock, the little... what do you call it? What do you call it now? It's the little terminal right in front of the museum, the smaller one.
It may have been where the post office is now. I've heard some older Caymanians say years ago that's where they think it was, where the post office is. I could be wrong. As I said, Dr. Steve and Miss Mary and Dr. Roy Barton I know very much more about that than I do.
But I heard the term whipping rock.
Yeah, they had a rock special rock. So I guess it could have been here, but then rocks could have been brought by where the post office is now. So I don't know.
And then what finally happened to her? I think it was was it Steve, Mr. Steve, that tells us that she was shipped off. She was like deported, like.
I don't know. She could have been. I know she was owned by my great uncle Thomas Noel Eden. He was from the second marriage. The old man was married twice, 4 children the first marriage, 1 son, 3 daughters, 1 son, 5 daughters from the second marriage. And that is what I do know about it, that she was given the lashes on her bare body, and horrible, humiliating experience, terrible inflicting pain on her.
But that was the point.
So I believe she deserves to be a national hero, or heroine, I guess you put it that way.
And she's getting a lot more publicity now. And we actually, do you know, we have a little story at one of our little exhibits in the courthouse is the Long Celia.
Doctor, what this she was there. She was there at the museum. And she was a drama teacher.
Nasaria Saku, Miss Michelet?
Yes, Nasaria Saku. She did the video.
Yes.
I helped them to organize it, getting the quarry over there to quiet down for it. And it took me about an hour and a half, 2 hours to shoot it. But she did that all. It's all praise to her. And she wrote a poem about her also, I think.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Those things are very, very important because we cannot just bypass that long part of history, and these are the people who helped to build this island, and particularly the big island of Jamaica. They suffered immensely under slavery. Hundreds of thousands of slaves, 50,000 were involved in slave uprisings, and over 2,000 were ordered, executed by British governors there, particularly Belmore. And then long after slavery, 30 years after, Lord Eyre in 1865, that famous Morant Bay uprising thing, cruelly 600, and I think it was 80-something, were Jamaicans were executed in that, or Bogle, or William Gordon, so forth. And others just as important, though they had no titles or no nothing.
Yeah, that's what my only sort of criticism, if you could call it, of Long Celia is that we need to find out the other stories, the other slave heroes.
What happened to her?
Yeah, hers is pretty much well publicized and well documented for the most part. But I want to know the other ones. I'm sure there were other ones.
There were others, but I mean, she was. What I mean is that she was the only woman that I knew was for many years that was punished with whipping. They had a signed agreement. I forgot what it was called, that with the government that slaves wouldn't be whipped. But it was sanctioned, but along with it was approved or signed by the British government too. That wouldn't happen, but I guess things can be broken or so forth every now and then, willy-nilly. We're a British Crown colony. And the court is subject to the British government's, point of view or their overall, ideas. So,
yes, sir.
Of course, we must always remember that. We're a British Crown territory, colony, whatever you choose to call us. Have a wonderful day. Listen on. Hope I didn't take up too much time.
No, you value as usual. Value, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Thank you. And we can go back to the phones now, Mr. Lynn. All right, let's go to the phones. Welcome. Good afternoon.
Thanks for holding on.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hey, welcome back, sir.
I was just listening to Mickey there. He's more of a historian than I am.
Yep.
Maybe because he's a year older or something like that. But the difference between me and Mickey is that he was born in Jamaica to Caymanian parents. I was born in Cayman, but I grew up in Jamaica. But going back a little further, we're going to soon get back. If you give me enough time, we'll get back to the corn turtle.
Right. Yeah.
But when you go back to the day that Christopher Columbus discovered Jamaica, May 1494, May the 5th, there's no documentation to tell you in any history book that you read why it took him from that time to the 10th of May 1503 to discover the Cayman Islands, which is only 180 miles away.
Well, it was, I think, it's an accident. The boats that I think we were discovered on the last voyage, the fourth voyage. And
we were discovered on the second voyage to the West Indies. Jamaica was rather.
Cayman was the fourth and final.
Yeah, I think Cayman was fourth.
According to recorded history on his part.
The boats that they had were rotten and leaky, so they had I think
the Nine and the Santa Maria.
Yeah, they were I think coming from Central America, and we weren't intended. That's why they didn't stop. It was like they just sighted, and it really wasn't Columbus. It was his nephew, I think.
Well, he takes the credit for it.
Of course. Good marketing is what it was.
Barcelona or whatever.
Good marketing.
But the first recorded Englishman to come to hit the Cayman Islands was Sir Francis Drake, in 1586. All these things, there's so many books at the library.
Yeah.
And we studied all of this, myself and Mickey, when we were going to school in Jamaica. And it's unfortunate that, I've had young people tell me that they didn't even know who Christopher Columbus was. I mean, it's like they don't teach it anymore. And that's unfortunate, because we're missing out. I mean, I grew up with what my grandfather said about my great-grandfather, William Tibbets. Great-grandfather William, we used to call him. Well, I was only 9 months old when he died, but I've always heard from my forefathers that the Tibbets name originated in Scotland. And to my surprise, about 10 years ago, Christine Wright, who works at the glass house there, she's a good friend of the family, she brought back a little plaque of the origin of the Tibetas, and we were actually Irish. I mean, it was uncanny, huh?
Well, some of those, you have those plaques and stuff, those things that people offer online and things like that. You kind of got it. I know there's a couple of people got them in their house, so just had a conversation about it.
This didn't come from online. This came from the actual country.
Mm-hmm.
But be that as it may, the fact is that the Tibbetts name came to Cayman via Jamaica because then, some people say, well, it was deserters from Cromwell's army and all kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
But be that as it may, my great-grandfather, William, he had a slave, and he actually fathered a child by a son.
Mm-hmm.
And when he got married, his new wife, which was my great-grandmother, she took him as hers and raised him with all 10 or 12 of the rest of them, and nobody talk about half brother,
right,
or half sister. It was just one big happy family. So
mm-hmm.
I think that we kind of miss the boat when we don't know these things.
Yeah.
And I always like to listen to Mickey because he is so well informed and he's well read. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I read a lot, but nothing like him.
Mm-hmm. And you're saying that at the library, but now most of those library books are online, and that's kind of where I access them. So it's easier.
I mean, what I'm trying to say is that it's easy for our people if they're
Mm-hmm.
interested to find out these
yeah,
things.
but it's kind of human.
It's
You've got a couple of individuals, yourself and like Miss Mickey and myself, that you like it. It's like I said, there's a reward there for you. For me, it's like time traveling and stuff. So you'll take the extra effort to do it. But I would say probably the bulk of a community, not just us, will kind of, you need to be force-fed it. And we're not doing that. We're not packaging it. We don't even have all of the facts to even interpret all of them yet.
And what we got is,
yeah, it's a lot of cloudiness. And even within the history book, there's a picture, there's a phosphate, the wreck in East End right now. I don't know if you notice it.
Yeah.
With the wheels and stuff.
Yeah. So you mean the record 10 sale?
No, not a record 10 sale. It's
the one further up?
No, it's something in East End right now that they found with the wheels. It's the railway thing.
Railway.
And it's most likely to do with the phosphate industry, and like we've talked about at the show. Well, not just Little Cayman, in Grand Cayman too. I think they had it in the Brac too.
Well, they had it. The only history that I know about it was in Little Cayman, but
that was, I think, the latest one. That was that was like the last spot for it.
But the whole point is that the powers that be in the educational department, they have completely gone awry in my humble opinion. Because I mean, my kids, one was born in the United States and the other was born in Jamaica, but they all grew up here.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell them certain things, they say, "But Daddy, we didn't study that in school," And they, they went to primary school, high school. And they worked here before they went to university in the United States.
I think I know more about the soil in Canada than our own history.
You know what I mean? I mean, my little grandson, I have a 9-year-old grandson, and he's a true Caymanian. I like to say he's a true Braca because every time he comes home, before he even hugs me, he says, "Grandpa, when are we going fishing?" This little guy catches fish anywhere he goes. I mean, he catches old wife inside the reef. So I know so I tried to teach him anytime.
I got one similar too, but her thing is crab.
Oh, yeah?
She the boss.
But anyway, Mama, getting back to the corn turtle.
Yes.
She said, my parents and my uncles and nieces and nephews, they call me Bobo or Uncle Bobo. But Mama said, "Bobo, the easiest thing for you to do when you want corn turtle, forget about the old time way when Grandamanda, my mother's mother, used to show Mama. She said, all you got to do is go to Foster and buy one of them 5-pound pack of white pails of salt beef. And when it's finished, use the same thing in turtle and cut the turtle up, clean it, and put it inside and a corn seam. Leave it about 6 weeks, and then you use it just like anything else.
Yeah. Is there any way of speeding up that 6 weeks?
No. Well, if you put more salt in it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Well, you gotta put the rock salt in, not just the regular salt.
Mm. Is it a
because really it's the brine that does it, But when I'm cooking corn turtle,
yes, when is that?
I do it just like how I cook a regular coconut dinner.
Yeah. So, and when is that going to be, you say? Specifically?
Well, actually, I'm cooking real turtle next week Sunday, but the corn turtle now, and I get one of them peels finished yet. So as soon as I finish that, I'll corn it and I'll let you guys know.
Oh, my goodness. This is the first step. Okay. And you don't do delivery or anything, right? We got to come look for it, right?
I do for some people, but most of women, not men.
Okay, so when can we pick this up? No, but we're not. This is.
I've been there for 44 years, so you shouldn't find it difficult to find it.
Well, you make sure you let it. We're not joking about that.
The street is even named after me, 26 Tibbetts Way. Easy.
26.
Write
it down right now. Tibbetts Way.
Yes. 26 Tibbetts Way. And you know my number.
Yes.
Oh.
We're having a social at the
Seafarers.
Seafarers. So you guys are welcome to come, even though you won't sign that. We changed the laws now. You guys can become members.
Members, yeah.
Seafarers. Yeah, serious.
Yeah,
I told Sterling that before.
Yes, sir.
And on the 17th of September, we're having the next social, and the governor himself will be there with his wife.
Yeah, but don't give him no corn turtle, though.
No, actually, we had to call his social secretary to find out what kind of meats and things that he's allergic to, but she hasn't got back to us yet.
Well, he could be allergic to corn turtle, so there's that you need to disperse that some other way.
Right.
How about that? Would it be ready by then, the 17th?
Okay, that's only 2 days away.
No, boy.
It'll be September.
A month and what, 3 days or something like that?
Yeah.
A month and 1 day?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. But
It might be. I can speed it up.
Yeah, you see, he said he had it. It wasn't ready yet. You're not listening, Don't fault me for your...
No, he's talking to me.
Him.
He's talking to me. Yes, sir. He's been on this corn turtle.
I've been on the corn turtle for about 2 years now.
Now, the if I may, Ray.
A corn turtle.
The discussion publicly about corn turtle. I created Ray. We did a show on it, right? A couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had.
Ever since that, people have been seeking it out. Even restaurants have put it on their menus again.
Really?
So yeah, people do it at home, but it's like I said, it's a process. And
I have not tried it yet. And not tasted it at all. That's my point. And that was our nickname.
You know taste corn turtle?
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah. And
don't tell nobody. You're in. Don't tell nobody.
Well, I can't. You had to talk to other powers, not me. I didn't have no choice in the matter. Seemed like, but even that. So when you tell me something, your Cayman Jamaica connection, were you called corn turtle also? That was a nickname for us.
No. Listen, I spent 10 years in Cayman Brac before I went to Jamaica. So I had learned the whole ropes by then.
Okay.
But then they had me and Dr. Tomlinson and his sister, who me and her born the same day, Karen Goddard. We were in Standard 6 for about 2 years, and Steve came and caught us, and we were in Standard 6 3 years, and they didn't know what to do with us. So him and his sister came to Cayman, and I went to Jamaica.
Okay.
I mean, that's fact. I mean, when I was living in Cayman Brac, they didn't get electricity until the year I was leaving. And we had no doctor, no hospital. That's why we're so industrious, because we had to do everything ourselves.
Yeah. Swim or drown?
Well, Miss Gretel Myra, she used to help Mama, because we were all close 2 years apart. She used to help Mama look after us, and she carried us down to Captain Rich back there and throw all of us in the water. Saying, I better swim, because if not, I'm going to go down, because I can't swim.
But I'm just saying, that's the same kind of attitude you were saying, like with the doctors and things not having. So you had to do it.
The resilience.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Well.
That's why in the early days. When they talked about Cayman Brackers being in Grand Cayman, they were the leaders in all phases of industry. Because we had to do it ourselves over there.
Right. So for the seafarers, I just want to remind that this Tuesday on the 20th.
This Tuesday coming, the 20th is the regular meeting.
Right. 7:30.
And 7:30.
Yes, sir.
And the social starts at 7 o'clock. That's in September the 17th.
17th. Yeah. All right. For all seafarers and their spouses. And right.
And early on, I heard on the radio all of the pickup points and which bus and all that, so they should be aware of it.
All right, well, we'll make sure that we get that out between now and then and a number of times too. Mr. Denison, always a pleasure, sir.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you so much for accepting my call. No. I had a pleasure listening to you guys, you and Mickey and them, and then talking to you myself.
Yeah, okay. We certainly appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, all the best.
All the best.
Okay,
Enjoy the weekend. And this is the beauty of this country. Now we have a break. Thanks to DJ Lynn for helping us to navigate the boards there. When we come back, we want you to call and share your thoughts with us. Stay tuned.
Know the signs of a faulty septic system. Sinks and/or toilets that drain slowly, floor drains that overflow, or sewage that is visible outside your home are all signs that your on-site wastewater treatment system is not working properly. If your septic system is faulty, now is the time to fix it to prevent further damage in the event of a storm. For more useful hurricane preparedness tips, visit the Water Authority's website at www.waterauthority.ky or follow us on social media.
Come out to the South Coast Bar and Grill this Friday, August 16th for the second annual Cayman Night. There will be live music by Wray and the band, Bonafide, Wild Nice, Lame, DJ Blue, and DJ Archie of Unit Force. Also featuring Randy Connolly, Philip and Molly Ann Bryan, Andy Martin, and special appearances by Swanky. Music starts at 9 p.m. and goes until 2 a.m. Admission is donations to assist Stan E-Banks with medical expenses, so don't miss the second annual Cayman Night at South Coast Bar and Grill this Friday, August 16th from 9 p.m. until 2 a.m. with Cayman's top musicians and admission by donation. See you there.
Hey, are those new glasses on Will?
Yeah, we went to Optical Outlook. Wham, bam, easy exam. Finally, an exam he could pass. And we had the glasses the next day. Easiest part of our back-to-school shopping for sure.
Book your child's eye exam today at Optical Outlook. Call 746-2020. Get half off a complete pair of glasses with any student's eye exam now until August 31st. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook. Located in Caymanian Village.
Terms and conditions apply.
The Miss Cayman Islands Universe Committee is inviting you to our pageant on 17th August, 7 p.m. at the Ritz-Carlton. The committee continues to empower young Caymanian ladies to become role models in the community. So come out and see our 6 beautiful contestants vie for the title of Miss Cayman Islands Universe. The winner will represent us at the Miss Universe pageant. Get your tickets today at Funky Tangs and Sand Angels.
Cayman Water Company would like to advise the public of roadwork interruptions on West Bay Road between Pizza Hut and Royal Palms on Friday, August 16th, Saturday the 17th, and Monday, August 19th, between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. Drivers are asked to proceed with caution and obey all traffic signs. That's roadwork and possible traffic delays on West Bay Road between Pizza Hut and Royal Palms from 7:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. on Friday, August 16th, Saturday the 17th, and Monday, August 19th.
This is JJ the Iceman. This is JJ the Iceman.
This is where the ride begins. A magical musical journey.
Weeknights on Radio Cayman, 8 to 10. Music on Express. Friday nights, 8 to midnight.
Music Express.
Radio Cayman's Music Express is brought to you by Taster's Choice, home of the $3 meal special.
The Elections Office continues the door-to-door verification on cruise port referendum petition signatures. Verifiers will visit assigned addresses Monday to Sunday between 9 a.m. and 8 p.m. Officials are identifiable by their branded colored shirts and Election Office-issued ID cards. To confirm your signature, petitioners must present a valid ID and review and sign a provided verification form. The form will include your voter registration information and the proposition contained in the referendum.
540 months.
16,425 days.
394,200 hours.
45 years.
That's how long we've been committed to serving you, and we won't stop there. Over the years, we have proudly grown with Cayman, making a difference in the community. That's why we're here, to stand by you.
We are Cayman National.
And we thank you for standing by us for 45 years and counting.
From happy beginnings to happy ever after.
wHA protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
95% of claims settled in 5 days.
Low-cost life insurance.
And investments.
Security in retirement.
With a custodian pension plan.
For happy beginnings and a happy ever after.
Visit wHA.ky or call 949-8699.
wHA, where people come first.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes. Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore.
Excuse me, I noticed you from afar.
Really? Me?
Well, not you. The KFC sandwich you're eating?
Oh, Zinger.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be funny.
No, it's called the Zinger Sandwich. Crunchy, juicy, 100% chicken breast, crisp lettuce, sweet mayo on a seeded bun with a little zing. KFC's chicken is not factory breaded, frozen and refried like the Burger Boys. Customize your KFC Zinger and dip it in barbecue sauce.
Wow, now I'm starting to notice you too.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
Hello, Cayman. I am Mariah Tibbetts, contestant number 3, representing the majestic district of Bodin Town. When I lived in Cayman Brac, I learned how to fish using soldier crabs as bait. I love spending time with my family, especially my 2-year-old nephew who calls me Yaya. Some of my favorite places I've traveled to are Amsterdam and New York, and I can't wait to add more to my list soon. The color pink describes my personality well because I'm a girly girl, I like to be romantic, and I consider myself to be a sweet person. I hope to see all of you at the Ritz on August 17th, where we will crown the new Miss Cayman Islands universe. See you there.
How would you describe SAYIN, SAYIN?
A language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Okay, I like that definition. Now let's get back to the show.
SAYIN, SAYIN.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Thanks especially to DJ Lynn. And if it's him, if it's Joel, if it's Fox, if it's Susan, whoever's on the board, they make it
on the board.
Yeah, they make it easy. So thanks so much for their work. Ray Banker sits here with us as we celebrate and look favorably at our history. Wow, it's a beautiful, inspiring place.
We can look favorably at our history, but I don't know if we can look favorably at how we've been treating it.
Right. And
would you say?
Nope.
Could be a little critical of it.
Very critical. Let's go to the phones though. Hey, welcome. Thank you for calling.
Return here from
yes,
Sterling
sir.
and Ray.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad my friend Denison called in with that information there. With the turtling, with regards to turtling, the reasons why the younger ones of my parents' children were born in Jamaica was due to the turtling business. My father was working with the Marines at the time, building boats. Had a little shop there in your so near to where Captain Ben Bar was on so forth, right down near where Royal Bank is. He was doing a lot for them, but they were being shipped through. They had the biggest turtling business. The turtles are being shipped to England and continental Europe by, through Kingston, Jamaica. The big vessels were running from there with them, and they needed someone who knew about turtling. Father knew, and also to handle it there. But my father's also a master shipwright. You know, he was one of the carpenters on the gold field, gold carpenters, and he built several yawls for himself. They're in the Melpomene, the 53 and 56 foot yawls, 1926, 1931, the Melponian, and others, the Reba and so forth. For himself, personally, those belonged to him. And when he went over there, the idea was to keep the turtles in crawls. There under the big docks, the huge number one pier. Anyone who knew about those docks, the old Caymanians, said they're all going across now. I remember it very well. Number one pier was a 1,000-foot pier built by the United States.
1,000-foot pier?
Yeah, 1,000 feet long.
Wow.
By the it was built in 1902, I think, or 1904. By the United Food Company. They had giant, that's a giant company. I think it's the same as Chiquita Banana, but it's part of it now and all that. It was a massive company. They owned ships, they owned everything. They built several docks. All the big piers in Jamaica were built by them, and some were government owned, and some they still controlled. And so even went into my days of customs work, the early 60s until 1967 there. I left permanently. He kept them under those built crawls there, but he had to bring Caymanians over with him. So he brought a lot of crackers over, and my oldest sister Emily, she remembers a lot of here in the 1930s, late 30s, on how the old people cast. So look, Emily's 89 now, and whenever I called her and tell her I met someone who I remembered her as a child and so forth, she'd ask me if they're from Cayman or Cayman Brack. That's how the old Caymanians would say it, I can tell you that. Cayman was Grand Cayman, Cayman Brack was Cayman. Anyhow, it was nothing thing. It was just that was the accepted norm, so you could know where you're from. Anyhow, he took a lot of Cayman Brackers over with him. And some never returned. Some their children, even and grandchildren, returned later years and so forth. Captain Bonnie Dixon and them comes to mind very well. Captain Tideman Dixon, a lot more. All the Scots, the Stirman Scots. Oh, so many of them great old people. And they worked here with the old man building, and he'd build the boxes himself to send the turtle meat off. And there were refrigerated ships by then in Jamaica doing the banana had become a huge export. Each ship would carry like 100,000 stems of bananas. Their ship green and so forth. And the Cornell family had a share in those shipping businesses over there. And then, and the Websters too. And they had their own dock too. My father used to use Webster dock too. And so it became a big thing. I remember my father butchering. He'd bring home like one big turtle to butcher for us, and people would gather around because then we weren't living down by the sea anymore. We were here building a lot of boats too, and even small yachts for the yacht club. We built several. But people would come by with cameras. This is 1950s, or taking pictures of him bring home a turtle to butcher for us. And watch that. I was always kind of saddened by that. I love the turtle meat. And he was corn. He was talking about the corn. Turtle.
Can't have your cake and eat it too.
I need it too. Perfect. And he would bring home like a log red turtle. And to this day, I prefer log red to the green turtle. I must be honest.
Really?
Yes. Oh, yes. The meat is more...
Loggerite is what we call it, huh?
Loggerhead,
yeah.
Loggerite.
Log red.
Yeah, log red. But Mr. Rickett, can you, for the record, when you're talking about your father, what can you state his name just for?
Czar Vidal Hurlston.
What's that?
Czar Vidal Hurlston, Z-A-R.
And you got his date of birth and
May the 1st, 1902.
Okay, just for the records, huh?
Yeah, and that is it. You can check all that out.
That's a name,
but
huh?
He did a lot with that, and he became very well known as the turtle captain. And talking about delivering the turtle meat, my older brother Stan, before he left school, he's still in school and left to work in the National Ball, late 1955. Stan used to deliver the turtle meat all the way up Council Spring Road, up past halfway, 3 miles to Caymanians there who, and he knew, and the old man said, son, deliver this, the Manablins, this piece of stew, the calapi, and this and that. So and so. They were young then, but Mr. Berkeley Foster and Mr. Charlie Foster and then Mr. Dennis's older brothers, and he would take it by the Avenue Tram. Stan would often talk about that. He knew exactly what they wanted. This is like 1948, 49, and stuff like that. But it was, they had so much. So many were involved in it. So many Caymanians came over there, the old man. It's sad that those things are not on record. I've called and got in touch with some of the people who remembered him. They were youngsters then, Sir Reynolds E. Banks in Cayman Brac. And the old man would take one of the big fishing vessels over every now and then to Cayman Brac to catch for groupers, because that's where the grouper capitals out of the world was. It's so many things there, so many things to tie into Cayman's history. And this is recent stuff. 70 years ago is recent, 75, that we don't even know about. It's so much more to it.
That's what we're finding.
Corning, the logweed turtle, and I grew to love corn turtle from that. The logweed was the best of corn. And it was real good Cayman chef, we thought, or cook. The stewards would know about that, and I think they would prefer to see that the log rib was the best thing to a corn
for corning. But was that because the green was more I guess palatable for fresh cooking?
And it was red, remember, reddish, and then it was less fat. Anyway, like I said, it's so long ago. I remember people lining up with cameras. I'd never seen a turtle. Most of those people just
the tourist trade.
The seaside, and that was a big thing then to see and watching the turtles and we keep on there. But anyway, thanks for giving me the time with all that.
Okay, but before you go, Mr. Mickey, I had a question. When we talk about Caymanians in Jamaica, was it all kind of stayed in one area, or was it just scattered about?
It was mostly, in around Bournemouth, Waterloo Road, and Slipdock Road, and around Wray Town, where the prison was. That's where I was born, right beside a big main prison there, Wray Town prison. And I remember a prisoner had escaped. It was a big old...
So this is within Kingston? This is within Kingston?
Yeah, and in Kingston, that's right, in Kingston, because of the harbour. Kingston Harbour, one of the best harbours in the world. That would be to the eastern side of Kingston Harbour, but on the northern coast of it. Palisadas and the airport is on the south side.
Okay.
On the famous Port Royal, the pirate city of the world, the king of pirates of the world, that city was.
Yes, sir.
At Port Royal, and we were up there. Most Caymanians were concerned with the sea working for the Websters, and Captain Rich also was there. He was captain on the Killarrig, the sister ship to the rescue. They were two great. They were the biggest salvage tugs by far in the world at the time, and he was one. And then Captain Wesley Eldemeyer, the 10th father, was on the rescue. He was salvage captain. He got two captains on those big salvage tugs and so forth, and all that. So there's so much history of it, that we're missing out there with what we're. I remember with them going on. They had to call the booby birds because they were a nuisance there to the men on the keys, and just like we're calling the green iguanas now. I remember that very well, and my father was contracted to go out, and he brought in 20,000 dozen booby eggs. It was late 1961, and he brought them in, and booby eggs are a great delicacy there in Jamaica. I imagine they still are. They're sold by the Higglers, carrying them around. I know Denniston will remember all that.
Higglers and Denniston in the same center. Mr. Mickey, respectfully, sir, I ask you to help me to keep Lynn on the right side of normal, and we haven't done so. Apologies, sir. Thanks for sharing. So, Ray?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of topics there.
Right. Thank you, sir.
There's a topic over there we got to get to right now, right?
The news.
News.
Stay tuned.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
The airport's runway overhaul will have to wait. The Cayman Islands Airports Authority says plans to start runway upgrade works at Owen Roberts International Airport this summer have been rescheduled due to, quote, unexpected extended contract negotiations. The CIAA say the airfield upgrade project consists of 5 sub-projects. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. U.S. Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib has rejected Israel's offer to allow her to make a humanitarian visit to her grandmother in the occupied West Bank. Ms. Tlaib said that she could not comply with the oppressive conditions being imposed. A critic of Israeli policy towards the Palestinians, she had been blocked by Israel from making an official visit. North Korea has rejected any further talks with South Korea, calling its decision completely the fault of South Korea's actions. It issued a statement in response to a speech by South Korea President Moon Jae-in on Thursday. Meanwhile, early today, North Korea test-fired 2 missiles into the sea off its eastern coast. The South Korean military said it is the 6th such test in less than a month. And Greenland has said it is not for sale after U.S. President Donald Trump stated that he would like the U.S. to buy the world's biggest island. The president is said to have discussed the idea of purchasing Greenland, an autonomous Danish territory, during dinners and meetings with advisors. But Greenland's government dismissed the idea, saying we're open for business, but not for sale. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Parents, do you know what time it is?
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
But it's not Christmas time. But school is nearly back in session. Is your child ready for the school year? Stop by Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village and pick up all of your child's stationery supplies. With 30% off selected items, you won't need to break the bank to get your little one prepared for the school year. You have enough to worry about. Make back to school a breeze with Savannah Pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, or call 946-3336.
Hey, are those new glasses on Will?
Yeah, we went to Optical Outlook. Wham, bam, easy exam. Finally, an exam he could pass. And we had the glasses the next day. Easiest part of our back-to-school shopping for sure.
Book your child's eye exam today at Optical Outlook. Call 746-2020. Get half off a complete pair of glasses with any student's eye exam now until August 31st. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook, located in Caymanian Village.
Terms and conditions apply.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
Wednesday, August 21 at 4 p.m. You are invited to the grand opening of the new Superior Auto Apprenticeship Center on Seymour Drive. New opportunity, new beginnings, new home for Caymanian youth seeking career training and certification in high-demand trades. like automotive repairs, air conditioning, refrigeration, plumbing, electrical, metal fabrication, and more. Come witness, celebrate the cutting of the ribbon. At 4 p.m. Wednesday afternoon, August 21, another milestone. The Superior Auto Apprenticeship Center, a not-for-profit program successfully training and creating employment alignment since 2010. Purpose and fulfillment.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Did you know in the 15 years that we've been discussing the berthing facility, our competitors have pressed on with construction and now welcome the larger ships that pass us by? It's time we built our piers.
Looking forward, looking bright.
Learn more and spread the word.
Support our port, support our tourism.
wHA SAYIN is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM. wHA SAYIN.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you for joining us, and certainly always appreciate our guests. And we ask you to join us in, just recognizing that people like Dr. Steve McPhee still very, very, very
we still like
busy.
him.
And so we appreciate his willingness, but we also understand that if we were his client, we would want his priority to be us, right?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Steve, as good Wray says, well, we still love you?
We still love you.
Yeah, man. It's an incredible resource. And I think as the public is listening, though, we see that in our country, there's so much. If I could share, though, one of my favorite listeners has sent in a question. It says, so I'm very interested in learning more about the Caribbean monk seals, which went extinct. So we won't talk about those at school here either, right? And it'd be wonderful if anyone in the public knows more about the monk seal history in Cayman. Officially, they went extinct in the...
we actually have it in our natural history gallery. This was one of the things that when we were setting it up that was notable to me. Like was totally off of my radar, and the Caribbean monk seal. And these are like warm weather. You always think seal is going to be Antarctic or something like that in the cold weather. But there's some warm weather seals. And they have them in Hawaii. Our history have them in Key West. I think you came across Texas. And some of the banks, I think Pedro Bank is, I think Pedro Bank, that's the one off Jamaica, right? Or that's not further in to the thing. But anyway, the last one. Yeah. So there's some of the keys there. But I think in their day, they were rare in their day. And the history, like I said, the museum has it. There's a little display in our natural history gallery. You can come in and you can see that, and also about the giant hawks and other things. But the last reported sighting, I think was 1955. It might be the Pedro Banks in Jamaica, off Jamaica. So 55. However far that is from Cayman, they had monk seals up to then. So people still living today could have seen them.
Right, and I appreciate that listeners sharing that.
That was a great contribution.
Yeah, the link, I quickly looked at the link, and the lake off the coast of California, people were reporting the smell of the whale blubber in order for lamp oil in the lake. The seals here, the Caribbean monk seal, they were using the oil the same way to grease the machinery in the plantations, right? And all the expeditions, the hunting.
Well, I know that they ate them, but they're found to be oily, I think.
Yeah, so they're using the oil to grease the machinery. Anything that
moves, we try to eat it.
Yeah, they're still long enough, and they were so docile. But I guess get oiled up before you eat it. Yeah? And
so that's another thing. You can, like I said, come in the museum, look at that, and some of the other Cayman. Like I said, we keep saying it. It's so much stuff.
Yeah. And a lot of it has connections to other things, but even the things that we see here, and a lot of the callers, including the message there, alludes to what is taught in schools, how it's taught, how it's presented, what isn't taught. I mean, I still remember the British Navigation Acts. What value that is? Yeah, that was almost drilled into.
Like I said, I know Canadian alluvial soils, glacial soils.
Yeah,
but don't know nothing about Cayman.
But the question then is, as we look at the history, and I appreciate you specifically. I know you say this all the time, and it's part of who we are. we're easily embarrassed. Oh, you give him a compliment, you know. But the work.
Now, if you can give me money, you can give me money. Not praise me, just give me money.
Let me see now. Who's the head of civil service? Is it the governor? Is it the premier? I mean, who calls the shots when it comes to the money? Pay Ray more money, okay? He has a family to raise.
And I will like you.
He might like you, but he'll be grateful. The man needs more money. No, it's just the work that you do, the hours. Hopefully you're not making
2 o'clock this morning. I was like, God, I sent out the message. I was like, I gotta go.
But people that know you understand that's your diligence, right? You're very involved, and I see the stuff. I make a joke about it.
Obsessive about it.
But
possibly.
Maybe. But that tenacity, as I call it, right? If you don't have people like you with that level of conviction and that desire to farm out the information, to go delve through it, and you curate it, I get to see some of the raw stuff. And then we distill it, and how do we present it so that it's scratching the surface. Hopefully, the Caribbean monk seal. Maybe there's someone who has.
There's tons of stuff that only found in Cayman,
and that's the thing. And too much of it isn't recorded.
Yeah, and what is be disappear by time by time people realize about it.
A fair that I've.
There's T Banker. You know about T Banker?
No, tell us about it.
Well, I'll tell you a whole bunch about it. But it's a little weed that grows in the sand areas. They find it in the graveyard and stuff. It's a little, I think, yellow flower, and it's named Tea Bank. And I think they used to make beverage out of it, and that's a critically endangered thing.
Yep,
and it's
disappeared almost altogether.
Yeah, but it's my little namesake. But it's just one of those things.
No, but
nothing to do with me necessarily. But I'm just saying to pick it up.
But there's that. Then there's the bushes, the plants that we had for medicinal purposes, right?
The snails, the little snails, you know them little, the one you see them more.
Soldier.
Well, that's it. Yeah. That's it. The soldiers are the ones that find most of them because they use it to shell. So these little kind of pale pinkish sometimes, gray sometimes, maybe like a little half-inch long, maybe a little bit longer. And that's apparently our one of our animals.
Right, that is only here. Right?
Yeah,
like and with not just
and on a specific bush.
That is the thing, right? Now, as children, they were there. Sometimes we look at them, a snail, we flick it off or we leave it, not because a snail was there. But if you don't know the value of the thing, and then if you're clearing a piece of land to develop something,
and that's the only area that has this bush and then the snail,
there's that knock-on effect. It doesn't have to be a deliberate malicious attempt.
No, it's ignorance.
And again, coming back to so much of our stuff that is recorded, we need to make sure that there's an accurate depiction. For instance, I sent it to 2 individuals, people I thought were, or people I know are, very much knowledgeable about financial matters. Just as a quick little feedback, students are getting ready to go off to university. For argument's sake, they're searching, they've got their scholarships, they're trying to make the conversions. What are the rate? I thought, well, everyone knows what a rate is for US dollar to CI dollar,
Isn't there like 3 rates?
Yeah, all right. So what do the millennials do today? Quick question, they don't have an answer, they go online. So they go online, they find that the rate online is, 1 to 0.83, right? And I thought, okay,
83?
That's partly now the information they found the sites. That's the official rate. Now I know some people will do preferential rates for some customers, make it a little better. The bank will sell you at either 4, take it from a US account, it's at either 2. You want to buy cash, it's at 80. Now we can get into the discussion at that, but rarely will you buy it from the bank at anything other than 0.84. Even employees are 0.833333, whatever it is, right?
I didn't realize that.
Well, if the bank is generous to you, for your slave labor, that's a different story. But again, why I say that's just one thing. We look at some other information on Cayman, its history, inaccurate.
Yeah. And well, that's kind of what I brought. I brought up that phosphate wreck, or that they call it train wreck. They are great how they phrase in some of these topics. You gotta notice that. That's subliminal too. But what was I saying about that now? There's a picture in the and I think you came across it when we did phosphate.
Yeah.
Picture in the upon the seas. that is on a dock, and it shows the boat with the tracks on it, and they said that is the evidence of phosphate, and it's like in his 30s or something. And I think we identified that wasn't necessary. It might have been left over from the phosphate in an industry, but it's actually just to do with the car unloading and offloading the cargo to the warehouse.
But
from the docks.
Here is something that's official, accepted, but inaccurate.
Yeah, it's in our history books.
Right. We got a call. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for sharing.
Good afternoon, Dream.
Afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I heard you all talking about tea banker. Not only tea that they used to use that for. Tea banker is got medical value.
Uh-huh.
You don't have appetite. You lost of appetite. You can get that tea banker, boil that, and drink it, and it'll give you back your appetite that you eat down house, land, and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good for appetite?
Yeah. Very good for appetite.
Okay. Anything else?
How easy is it to find, or how difficult it is to find?
Because I'm a herbal doctor.
No. But finding it, is it harder to find now? A lot harder? Can you find it still?
Yes. Most of the places, about the only place you can find that right now is in Southbound Cemetery.
After today, be all gone.
Can you grow it?
Yes, oh yes. What you do when you plant, when you take it out of the sun, you put the sun out of business and put it in that container and keep watering in it. As long as you keep it watered, it will catch. It will stay just like it being on the beach.
Wow. Okay.
All right. If you lost of appetite.
Well, that's encouraging.
Work for it.
Yeah. No, you see, and that's the thing too. As you shared, a lot of the we call them the bushes, right? But those are many plants. There are many plants out there that we.
Darling, right now, as far as I'm concerned, for the zone you won't be able to find. It's only certain parts of the island now you can find herbs because it's so much building, so much tearing down that you won't be able to find no herbs in Cayman. I got one plant. Certain if you got a kidney failure, you can take that plant, dry for months to years, and you put it in a pot of hot water, 2.5, 3 minutes. It come right back to natural life, and you boil that and drink it. It restore your kidneys right back like they born.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you all have a good day.
Thanks for that, sir. Appreciate that.
Thank you. And again, really, this is it, man. So much if you look at it, and as we look at the different things in our history, you mentioned earlier the notion of the graves, and if he doesn't mind, the works of Simon Tatum recently. So much. But you got something?
Yeah, it got a little bit personal, exciting news in my personal little research here. I don't know if I had mentioned it before in some of the other programs, but I have a great grandfather that's an American that was shipwrecked. This is late 1800s, and couldn't find any wrecks. Know more about his grandfather than I do him. He came here, like I said, wrecked here in the 1890s, I think, 1880s or 1890s, out round about. And he met and married a Russell, and had children. Well, obviously, so I'm here, like 7 kids, I think. But married, it was a white American, come in and married a colored. Her name was Olympia Russell. And she's part Jamaican, part, finding out. I thought she might have been Bay Islands, but some of her family went to Bay Islands. And she comes from a family of James, and I haven't even heard. So that's all within the last, like, say, month and a half where I found that. And we had some family visiting from U.S., some of the Andrews. And the story with that is 40 years ago, some other their U.S. relatives that were in Atlanta came looking for us, came looking for the Andrews. They just came down, just looking for anybody last name Andrews. I think Miss Daphne was working actually at the place they were staying. It was Silver Sands or Coral Cayman, one of them or something like that.
Silver Sands.
And she remembers mum is, because they're the only Andrews family on the island, and got in touch with us and met him and got all the details and came. She made some notes. She was a genealogist, her and her other cousin. And and I remember that. I always remember we talk about that and things like that. So this week now, another Andrew came and he's got the notes that they took in 40. So they've got Wray 40 years ago. So they got Wray and my sister mentioned and things like that. And then all of the story of the wreck that I couldn't find. A lot of it is missing. I got to do a lot more details. So apparently there was a hurricane. I think he was in a 4-masted bark, I think it's called. There was just 12 men on board. They were in a hurricane and they got pushed off 25 miles off course, 25 miles. And they wrecked on East End. And 3 sailors died, 9 were saved. They came, a note saying they were naked and penniless, or they were clothesless and penniless. Came to town by law, British law, they had to be taken care of, and that's where he met Olympia's mother, which is Letitia Russell, and that's when they got together. And apparently he nursed his bone, he healed his bones or nursed his bones or something like that. Fell in love, and I know, stop. And so, so he went back and came back and lived in Cayman.
Wow.
So a shipwreck, it's like one of the first tourists.
Refugees?
So I've got to now find this wreck. I got to find a hurricane, and I've been looking at that hurricanes, and I got narrowed down the dates. His first child, I think, was born in 1890. And so that's maybe 1891, first child born, and I think so 1890 around about when he might have got married or union. And but he said he went back to sea to make enough money, and he used the term, if you find a bird, you got to make a cage, build a cage. That was noted in the notes. Wow. So that's 40 years ago that I...
So you started your history walk, man.
Yeah.
Very interested into this. And so maybe there's people out there listening now that could help with some of that.
With the wreck, the East End wreck. I think, I don't know, it's... I'm going to have to go to archive. So at least what it is, I have a good... I tried looking in the archive before, but I had no kind of dates, I thought it was Cuba that he was wrecked, thinking,
But see, this is where having our history and being able to make that connection, and given... Many societies are similar, but we know Cayman in particular. So not only are people leaving and traveling the world and settling, so there are Caymanians all over the globe as we're finding.
People coming in, and that's been happening. That wreck thing, people being introduced, that's been happening for centuries.
Yeah, and so people are coming here, and there has to be something about the place, right?
That's what I was saying too.
Yeah, and to understand the lifestyle that they had. Now, you want to look at it in today's language and say there's a happiness. Yes, it's physically hard to get food, to prepare food. If you have weather, you're not having a great sort of shelter, as it were. But they must be able to enjoy a certain comfort, a certain lifestyle, a certain standard of living, a certain quality of life that makes them want to endure it. And then when you think of today, we haven't stopped yet, but we're starting to increase the measure lifestyle by happiness index as opposed to GDP. You look at a good friend last night was sharing with me. She was sharing that if you look at some of the islands, the Cape Verde, other places.
Girls that are good friends, did you?
No, I was exaggerating. Come on, well, you had to call me on that. Jeez, next thing you want me to prove it? Well,
they'll be like, they want you to prove it too.
Oh man!
But anyways, they were saying.
No, I forgot what I was saying. You know what? This is.
Got him caught in the line, discombobulated him.
No, you got me caught. But no, but it's amazing. Really. No,
but yeah, no, I did think about that. What made him stay? And I think I have to kind of what happened, because, like I say, his family was in Atlanta, and his mother was actually named Hattie, and that was a name that he used.
Yeah.
So he reused he named all his children after family in the States, and his name isn't mentioned in his mother's will or her obituary. So one day, if he was left off because of he was married to a colored, So there's that to look into. Because one side of the family said there's a story where he went back, took some of his children with him back home, and couldn't sit in the same place as in church.
I wonder if he took the ones that were lighter skin.
I can't remember. I never saw. Some of them were long gone before.
And the reason why I say that is that there are people, I mean, some interviews, I won't, you decide whether we can mention a name, but remember one of our research, Caymanian, talked about, traveling to certain parts of the U.S., and when he was there, the behaviors, the experience, even though when you look at him...
Isn't it called racism? What are you talking about?
Right. And
this is CP?
The other one too, yeah. Oh. So I remind you.
Sorry, that's an off-air thing again.
Yeah, but
we're on air now.
Yeah, we're on air. But the reason why I share that is that we don't understand today that this is my perspective from our old history specifically. The level of segregation that existed in our community.
Yeah,
right?
I think, are you talking about going to the U.S., but then even in Cayman, there was a whole lot of segregation, a lot of racial, racially motivated behavior.
Yeah, but then when they travel, to the U.S. specifically, it was so...
Sometimes you get different rules, like somebody who would be quote-unquote white in Cayman, then they go somewhere else, and then they realize that they're not white.
Yeah. And then the seafarers saw it, but even the people. The story with the lady that was given us in the home there, as she was married into the family. Well, I'll remind you afterwards. So much of it that isn't recorded. Right? It isn't for us to put a blight on the society, but for us to understand the perspective.
But that's a reality thing,
right?
Though. It's a blight. I mean, if there was blight as a society, or probably they didn't consider it blight back then. Obviously, it was just that's how it is.
That was the
I mean, don't shoot the messenger. That's what it is. That's what it was. Like, I'm just recording it.
But when we talk about the resolve and the resilience of the people, Mr. Denniston said, look at what was experienced, growing up then, and what his father and grandfather and the great grandfather, what life was like for us then. But think to our women who said, "But wait a minute, we want to be considered, equal footing. We want to be able to vote. We want to be able to stand for election." They had that drive in them to do that, to be politically motivated and involved. Economically, we did the same. We did it as a people. Now, there were certain things. If you look at the historical context of where the world was, the Western world in particular, as we know it through our history books, whether it was equality for people despite their race, religion, ethnicity, what have you, whether it was men and women equally going to the polls. Look at when the U.S. got it. And look at when we got it here. It's not a big difference in terms of, 2 decades maybe.
Well, U.S. was when? 30s?
Yeah. I would say early 30s.
And we're 50-something, we're 54 or 55 or something.
So, 2 decades.
I think some places like Australia or New Zealand are the pioneers with that, early ones.
Yeah.
And some people like till the 70s,
right.
Middle East, not till the 70s.
Well, look at some of the behaviors in France up until the 70s relative to married couples and the like. So many people here want to discredit, say, Cayman for whatever reason, or the ignorance or the malice. But if we don't know, then we can't champion, defend, we can't celebrate.
Yeah,
I know.
We definitely need to. We need to do it.
Yeah, but really, thanks very much. Thanks to Dr. Steve, for his motivation.
In absentia.
Absentia. Yeah. And I'm hoping that we can get that other stuff done so that we can get the information. All right. You're going to enjoy your weekend?
I think I am, yeah.
All right. To our listeners, thank you very much. Ray is available. You can find him everywhere. He's online. And
no, not everywhere. Hey.
Mr. Lynn, should you say that publicly?
Swipe right, swipe left.
I'm thinking, what's Tinder?
Tinder. It's a tandem thing, is that?
Yeah. And he is most amenable to learning and having you share our history with him. Right, Ray?
Yeah, kinda. I think we should talk before you advertise stuff.
And Ray's personal number is 1-800-534-8255. No, it's just the man.
I give him yours. Say, yeah, do like what my Uncle Ivan used to do. My other cousin say, yeah, call me. This is my number. Give him his number. Call me around about 2 or 3. I don't sleep. Anytime, call me.
No, don't do that. Ray is up, but he's working. Listen, thank you very much. I learned a lot. I've come to value and appreciate our history even more. I thought I was very passionate before, but you've encouraged that passion even more. And I hope all of us will really seriously look.
But I tell you, it's worth it. Like I said, it's worth it, and there's a lot of material there.
Yeah. And if you find, may I say this though, if you find those of us who have that interest, find ourselves getting a little bit frustrated because we don't understand why our families and friends and co-workers can't get it, can't see it, find a way to share them. Because sometimes
even when we had dinner with the family last night, and so we said even that, even within the family, like I'll go and I call them up, I need this, and they're like, what, I'm busy. And then when they do give it, and when I do find stuff from it, they're like, wow. And then that happens. Yeah. That happens. You just kind of gotta
be patient with us.
Take the pill and
who are passionate, but also be prepared to celebrate it and respect. I mean, this is such a wonderful.
Even with art, making art and stuff. Say like you find me out doing something weird with in the middle of this thing doing something, and they're like, "What is he doing?" And then when you find out, when you go to a gallery or something, you see it. Oh, that's what you were doing. Yeah. So you have to, that's something
it's
that
a process.
Yeah, that's a occupational hazard that you have to kind of do.
Well, I say this often, and I'm very grateful, and I recognized it early. I'm glad that you continue to have that tenacity, and it's really commendable. You're an inspiration.
Thanks.
To our listeners, thank you very much. To DJ Lynn, you know what? Tell Ms. Norma that you're like the best one. I mean, you're so accommodating. And it has to definitely be, good Savannah. Yeah. To our listeners, Monday's another day. Trust and pray that between now and then, we will have a very blessed, safe, and productive, enjoyable, relaxing, rewarding weekend. Join Mr. Art on Monday morning for the record. Talk Today will be with you right after midday news. Ray, as we say.
I see what you said.
All right, see what I'm saying. Be blessed.
See what I said?
See what I'm saying?
See what I saying? It happening every third Friday on Talk Today.
Jointly produced by the National Museum and Radio Cayman. A language.
See what I said?
See what I'm saying?
See what I saying? It happening every third Friday on Talk Today.
Jointly produced by the National Museum and Radio Cayman. A language, history, and culture show. Remember, it's every third Friday on 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Proudly sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
See what I'm saying?